Anti-HS2 campaigners have lost their latest battle to stop it being built. They went to the Supreme Court, claiming the government's actions were contrary to EU law.
Technically, it's the end of the line for protesters as far as the UK courts go, but they say the fight is not over. Well, Wesley Smith has been monitoring court proceedings, so is this the green light then for HS2?
Perhaps an amber one.
Right.
Lucy, I think really the Supreme Court really is the last court of appeal in the UK. Previous bids had been rejected by the Court of Appeal and the High Court. Now, this time it was up to 7 judges to rule on whether or not the government had failed to take European environmental laws properly into account in a bid to push through the project. This is how Lord Reid delivered the verdict.
It is argued that members of Parliament will not apply an independent mind to the issues, since votes in the House of Commons are likely to be subject to the whip, and members of the government can be expected to vote in accordance with their collective responsibility. In these circumstances, it is argued, the parliamentary procedure will fail to comply with the requirements of the directive. The further appeal to this court is unanimously dismissed.
HS2 Limited now says that ruling means they're on course to start construction in 2017.
And remind us, Wes, about the route and why it is proving so controversial.
Well, the plan, of course, is for it to move from London to Birmingham, where, of course, the business community thinks it's a fantastic idea. It would be a real boost to the local economy, they say. But others are, of course, strongly against it. Now, Phase 1, which was dealt with today, would see trains cutting through the Warwickshire countryside at 225 miles an hour. Phase 2 would eventually bring the swift route from the Midlands to the north, but not without major disruption in Staffordshire, where it wouldn't even pick up passengers. Well, that's prompted protest all along the proposed route. Understandably, people against HS2 are disappointed by today's ruling, and they vow to fight on.
Well, obviously we're disappointed because it didn't go our way, but this is not the end of the road for us. The Supreme Court decision gave a very restrictive interpretation to EU environmental law. So the next step for us is to take it to Europe, because we believe that they got it wrong.
Well, the HS2 Action Alliance were joined in the challenge by a number of environmental groups who believed they had the evidence the government had got it wrong. So we asked the Transport Minister to explain what she was doing about the environmental impact of HS2.
We're taking many measures to try and mitigate the environmental impact. By the time you look at 53 kilometres of tunnels, 73 kilometres of cuttings, 4 million new trees, linking up habitat, all of that is important, but big infrastructure does have an impact on the environment. The importance is the project and the benefits that it brings have to be weighed against that.
Of course, the cost of HS2 is still a big issue. Estimates put it at £50 billion. But just the other day, the London Mayor, Boris Johnson, said it would be nearer £70 billion. The bill to take the anti-campaign to Europe will also cost. The HS2 Action Alliance told me they're already getting together to see how much they need to raise before their campaign either hits the buffers or sees HS2 derailed for good.